Hello and welcome to Medical Dialogues Journal Club. I am Dr. Nandita Mohan, and today I will be talking about a recent success of the Indian Journal of Dermatology, Venereology and Leprology, where its impact factor has grown from 3.2 to 3.4 in this year's JCR by Clarivate Analytics. Now, this journal that we're going to discuss in depth, in detail today is published by Scientific Scholar. Now, the journal, Indian Journal of Dermatology, Venereology and Leprology, is an open access peer-reviewed journal which is committed to publishing high-quality articles in the field of clinical and experimental dermatology, cutaneous biology, dermatological therapeutics, cosmetic dermatology, dermatopathology, dermatosurgery, pediatric dermatology, photodermatology, HIV medicine, sexually transmitted diseases, and even leprosy. So I have a pleasure to welcome an esteemed panel of dermatologists who are from the editorial board of this Indian Dermatology Journal. Currently, if I talk about this journal, is among the top rated medical journals from India with a commendable impact factor of 3.4. And to talk about the journey and success, we are joined with us today the editor-in-chief of the journal, Dr. Archana Singhal, and also the section editors, Dr. Geeti Khullar and Dr. Pooja Arora, and a very proud Dr. Sunny Datta Gupta, the publishing director of Scientific Scholar, to discuss the rise and dominance of IJDVL in the fiercely competitive world of clinical publishing. So I welcome you all to Medical Dialogues. It's really a privilege to be having you on board here with us today.
Thank you.
Great. So I wish to start with Dr. Archana. Ma'am, as the editor-in-chief of this leading dermatology journal, or let's say the leading journal in India across several specialities, how does it feel to experience such a success? And but most importantly, how difficult and challenging was it to arrive at this point that the journal is at right now?
First of all, thank you, Dr. Nandita, for having us on board. And I'm extremely delighted and pleased that the impact factor of IJDVL has risen this year from 3.2 to 3.4. And it's been a very, very challenging journey since Feb 2023 when I took over as an editor-in-chief for various reasons. But this journey has been immensely gratifying, fulfilling and rewarding. So I should tell you that this is a 90-year-old journal. It was started in 1940, and since 1940 I'm the second women editor-in-chief. So I had no option to fail because there being a women editor-in-chief after so long for high impact journal, even then the impact factor was 2.9, and so it was a very challenging and tough job. But I should not sound boastful, but I have a very, very dream team who is very committed and honest and consistent. And it's not only my efforts, it's the culmination of the efforts of the editorial team, the authors, the reviewers, and last but not the least, the scientific publishing team. I think Scientific Scholar has made a tremendous difference because the switch happened just before I took over.
Great. Actually, it all comes down, narrowing down to a accumulation of teamwork and effort that actually is put into it, and that's the result that we are actually seeing today. Yeah. Dr. Geeti, you have been a section editor for years together now. Now, I would like to ask you, as a section editor of such a prestigious journal, how does it actually feel, and what unique is it with the IJDVL's peer review process? If you can just highlight that on a little bit.
So I think it has been a very professionally enriching journey for me for these 10 years, almost complete. And initially I had been a forum editor, which has now been taken off, and then section editor for the past 8 years. So the peer review process, I think the peer review is one of the most rate limiting steps in a manuscript cycle. And why I say this, because it is the most delays happen in this phase. And it is very important to expedite this process of peer review, and for the past, I think 2 years, the turnaround time has been reduced a lot. So it is almost now maybe around 3 to 4 months for many of the manuscripts, and maybe
manuscript it is now 36 days. It has come down.
Yeah, so it has tremendously, yeah. So, and that is, I think, the most important factor when people choose the journal for submitting their research and all, that how much time it takes from submitting to acceptance and then publication, of course. So that is the most important change that I have seen over these 10 years, the reduction of this time. And of course, the manuscript quality, which has been tremendously, it is improving every year. And so is the impact factor that is reflected, because the citations also depend on the quality of the manuscripts. So I think the peer review is very complex, but just to give a view of what it is basically, that we as a section editors, we are 19 of us, so we are allotted this one of the articles, maybe a weekly 1 or 2 articles, and then we basically allot it to either we send it a recommendation right away if we feel the relevance is not there or it is not that novel, and for rejection or maybe for the change of category of the article. And if not, then we further send it for a peer review to our referees, maybe 3 referees initially, because sometimes 2 of them do not respond, so 3 to 4 referees we send. And I must say that the reviewer pool has also increased, it has broadened over the years. So we have now international reviewers also on board, and they give very good reviews. And so I think overall the process has improved and it has become more streamlined, faster, and that reflects in the impact factor of the journal.
Yes, very well, very correctly mentioned. It does reflect in the impact factor. So definitely it is a driven factor. If you mention about the turnaround time, as ma'am mentioned, it's 36 days. That's nothing. And that is what we young researchers...
For original articles, it might be slightly more, but we... you know, my sole agenda when I joined as editor-in-chief was to reduce the submission to publication time, because you know the relevance of scientific content changes over a period of time, and sometimes it changes very fast, that the article which is relevant today may not be relevant after a year or 2 if you delay the process, right? So I think in my journey I have tried to simplify the whole process of from submission to, and we have cut down a lot of, you know, say steps based on it's a dynamic process, so you know every editor-in-chief will add to something, but that's what I did, you know.
That's actually a very good change that has brought the result that we are actually discussing today. Now, coming to you, Dr. Pooja, as a section editor yourself, how challenging is it to find and allocate reviewers? Now, as Dr. Geeti was mentioning that you have international reviewers, you have a very stringent or rather streamlined the peer review process. So, how challenging is it to find and allocate reviewers to each different article in your journal that you're dealing with? And how do you manage contrasting views to arrive at the best recommendation while judging every content of the article?
Yeah, so one of the most challenging tasks is assigning reviewers and ensuring that the review is done within the journal stipulated timeline. So with highly specialized submissions, you have to find the right kind of expert who is not only willing to commit to the article but also is there to give that time. So many of our reviewers, they are juggling between clinical duties, research work and administrative roles. So even when they are enthusiastic and they accept to review, they might not be able to fulfill the commitment because of the availability problem. So this means to me a sense of responsibility, because this timeline is very important, not just for the journal but for the authors, especially who are in the early phase of their career. So I have a key strategies to ensure that the article is reviewed within the time frame. So I have a network of reliable reviewers, those people whom I can directly reach out to. So when I assign a reviewer, it is followed by a message, and that message is like, I want their expertise for this particular article. So this kind of a positive message, I will get a positive response from them. So, and another thing which I do is I have backup reviewers. So for original article, when I know I need 3 reviews at least, I'll allot 4 in the beginning itself. Also, I monitor the timeline. So we know that the journal has automated emails that will be sent as reminders, but I keep a track, especially for important articles, and I will send a gentle reminder myself. And another thing which Archana ma'am started is we are felicitating our reviewers. So we also have a reviewer rating. So after an article undergoes undergoes the process, we have to submit the reviewer rating. So, and based on our work throughout the session, throughout the year, we had to recommend few reviewers for the award, and these people were felicitated in our national conference. And as far as the contrasting views are concerned, yes, that's common, especially with novel manuscripts. And in such a situation, what I do is I don't see the final verdict. I try to see where is the difference. Is it a difference in just the interpretation, or is it some major flaw in methodology, which the other reviewer has missed? So looking at it with fresh eyes, maybe I would reread it in the light of the comments and give an independent judgment. And sometimes I take a third opinion. I maybe speak to ma'am about it. And so it's very important to maintain that clarity and transparency and convey the same to the author so that they are able to improve their work.
That's actually a good, and as you started, ma'am, the felicitation of the reviewers, so that actually gives a very good motivation to the young researchers also, and also who want to join on to the review board, and that gives a very good indication that they have something to look forward to.
Because generally the peer review process is complex and time consuming, and it is perceived as a thankless exercise. So, the motivating them and labeling them as a revered reviewer, we have top 15 of them and we felicitate during our annual conference, is a big motivation. And I must say that, everyone should review, because it's a great learning exercise. It makes you a better author, I must say, reviewing nicely.
You learn a lot, I think, with every article. It's different, it's specific, so you get to learn at every step. Now coming to you, Dr. Sunny, as the IJDVL is the top-rated journal in the kitty of Scientific Scholar, and it has been doing progressively well. We've seen the research, and we've seen the achievements that it has brought till date. And how has been your experience managing the journal's academic growth over the years, and what inspiration you draw onto this?
Thanks, Dr. Nandita. And it is not only what I feel right now, it is what the entire management of Scientific Scholar feels. And I can surely say that the entire Scientific Scholar team, be it our MD Dr. Vikram Dogra, Pritesh Seth, our CEO, or our my operations director Krupa, we all are feeling the same way what, in a metaphor, the head coach of Chelsea Football Club might be feeling right now after winning the Club World Cup, beating PSG 3-0. So that is what has happened with IJDVL, because when IJDVL joined Scientific Scholar few years back, nobody gave us a chance. They said that our rivals, they said that it was maybe a wrong move and the journal won't progress that well, and nobody had shot at us. But as you know, persistent hard work, collaboration, strategy, and with the core focus of dissemination of quality clinical content was the motivation, and that is what we dwelled upon. And it is a collective team effort. The previous editors worked well, they left a legacy, and based on top of that, Dr. Archana and her entire team took it forward with their own changes, own methodologies, and the result is in front of you. It is not that in this year, it was in the previous year, and I'm pretty sure it would, and the results of these years of hard work would come in the coming years as well. So it's a huge motivation for us to work well, and I'm pretty sure many other journals would take motivation from this and would eventually join Scientific Scholar.
It goes to Scientific Scholar for the review feedback.
So, as my closing question, Dr. Archana, you've been a tremendous editor-in-chief for this journal, and now after completing a successful tenure, you would be passing the responsibility ahead. How do you see the future of the journal, and what message will you have for the clinicians overall in the field of dermatology who wish to pursue clinical editorialship?
Yeah, so I must say that, it's a challenging job, but it's a very rewarding, fulfilling. Academic is a very cutthroat competition, the journals, everything. And IJDVL is first in many aspects. Like, We are probably the journal with, I don't say that there are many only women journal, but in academia this gender equity is very important, and IJDBL can boastly and proudly say that we have over 40% women editorial board members as women, and they always make very good, reliable, and responsible workers. Second thing, very important in journal work, whether it is editor or anything, is consistency, hard work, and discipline. You can't take a day off. If you take a day off, there is piled up work for the last 2 days.
Very
It's
true.
a continuous, ongoing, non-stop process. For at least AIC, there is no chutti for 3 years. There might be, even on vacation you have to work. Consistency is the key, I must say. And the teamwork, communication is very, very, very important. I do not consider myself that okay, I'm ESC, I'm very old, I'm senior to many of them. I don't feel any hesitancy or inhibition in reaching out to anyone. And I think it's vice versa, that the editorial team members don't hesitate to reach out to me if there is a problem, or I don't feel hesitant in reaching out to the publishing house. Like I can call Pritesh anytime, or Krupa or Sunny for that matter. So it's a